Wes, lead us in the pledge.
Please stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance after me. I
pledge allegiance to the flags of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Wes. We have with us here tonight our members of our staff, and go down through there and kind of introduce them to you so you know who they are. Our city manager, Sean Warnke, and then over here, council member Wes Eastep, Connie Archibald, Lyle Vance, Brett Rohde on my right, Rick Siemens, and then we have out in there, I'm thinking Paul Fulgham somewhere. Paul's here somewhere. Lindsay Nesson, our recorder, Mark Christensen, our assistant city manager. Chris, are you here with us tonight? Chris Cothern? No. He's not here tonight. He's got other things. Dustin Cordova is our police chief. Shari, I saw Shari back there in the back here just a little bit ago. Shari Euler, she's our treasurer. Let's see, got Zach here also, Zach Lefevre, and Sarah Mormon is with our social media. And we have all of you, all these young people associated with North Park School and McKinley School, am I right there? And we're going to be able to recognize you guys in just a little bit. Welcome here. We're glad you're here with us. Declaration of conflicts of interest. Council, any declarations there? Okay. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as written in front of us this evening.
I'll second.
Motion by Connie and second by Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes from November 15th, 2022.
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes from November of 2022.
Approved by, our motion by Wes and second by?
I'll second.
By Brett. All in favor, council?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, we have a presentation this evening with, we're going to be recognizing citizenship. This has been a great thing that we started a few months ago, and to be able to recognize young people for their efforts in being good citizens in our community, that's where it starts. And too many times we hear all of this negative out in the world about all the things that are going right. Well, this is one of those things that are going wrong. This is one of those things that is going right. And we appreciate these young people for doing that. Without any further ado, we'll go ahead and what I'm going to do is come around to here and we'll call up your name and present you with a certificate. And we also have a little gift card for you, Caesar's Pizza, so you can go get a pizza. We've had ours for tonight. You can go get one too. So anyway, yeah, very good. Do we have representatives from the schools here with us here tonight? Principals or represent teachers? Go ahead and stand up and, which one are you with? McKinley. You're with McKinley. And do we have somebody representing North Park?
Right there.
Okay, come on up here to the front then with us, and as we give out these, you can stand up here with me if you'd like.
Oh, good. Good.
And then we should have some, is there someone here from the intermediate school as well?
No.
I don't think
Okay.
there's anybody
No.
here from the intermediate school tonight. Okay, and before I go down there, we want to recognize Connie Archibald, who, this is her brainchild, and I think it's just a great thing, so wanted to recognize Connie for that.
Really, Wes. Wes.
Wes, yeah.
My idea.
We know it was your idea.
All right, Maya Young.
So did you tell them they need to stay up here, Lyle? Remind them to stay up here until.
Okay,
You get
All
them
right, we're
all?
going to make you stay up here for just a little while. We're going to take your picture. Is that okay? Okay. Here you go, Maya. Very good. Owen McMurdy?
Owen McMurdy, no one, huh?
Let's see, with McKinley. So will you make sure? Axel Hatch? You're at McKinley School, aren't you? Very good. You just wait up here for a few minutes. Sophia Mitchell? She's also at McKinley School. Let's see, Macy Walker? Oh, let's see, I need to give you one of these too. Here. There you go. There you go. All right, Lauren Thompson? Brianna Ostermiller? You've all been with McKinley, right? And now we're going to North Park School. Here you go, Brianna. Here's your card.
That's cute.
Regan Adams? North Park School as well. Now come on around here.
Darling, so cute.
Jackson Christensen? Very good.
So fun.
Annabelle, is it Cable? Cable. Cable, okay. Annabelle Cable? Lawson Vance?
Oh, here's yours. Oh, yeah.
Somebody special sitting up on the back? There you go.
What do you mount to us?
Jenna Nielsen? Very good. And we want to get a picture of everybody. So why don't we have you kind of crowd around and I get to stand in the middle of you. That's the best part of the whole day. Kind of crowd in a little bit. I don't bite.
Okay, nice catch.
1, 2, 3.
It's awesome.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
I want to thank parents for teaching your children. Thank you so much. In our world, we have lots of contention and anger. We have lots of fear that we're dealing with. But these children have been taught about being respectful and being responsible and being safe. And so thank you, and thank you to our schools that value these types of attributes, because this is how Tremont becomes a better city, is through citizenship. And so thank you so much, students, for being that kind of example. We appreciate it so much. As a city council, we're grateful for your example, so thank you.
Very good. And you are certainly welcome to stay for, yes,
Do you have any for Harris Intermediate?
Harrison.
Harris Intermediate?
No, we didn't have it, not that we know of.
There was 2 of us that were invited.
Oh,
Well, then,
Oh,
okay, come on.
come up.
Not that I want to make,
We,
No.
yeah, we need to,
I'm like, Okay,
Thank
okay,
you.
I just want our kids to be recognized.
No,
now.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sure. Do you have cards?
We have. Do we have cards? Yeah.
Come on up here, you guys.
We apologize.
Yeah, Red Star!
We're going to really embarrass you now. So you got to tell us who you are.
Rich Stark,
Rich Stark, and you're what grade?
6th.
Sixth grade at Harrison Intermediate?
I'm Paisley Googley and I'm in 7th grade.
Well, good.
And they're cousins!
Let him get a picture.
Oh, we want a picture.
1, 2, 3.
Now you're in it
Glad
for
she
sure.
said something.
Sorry, unless
Yeah.
Harris Intermediate led us astray.
Thanks for saying something.
I'll say. That was so good.
Everyone.
All right. Let's see, we have a presentation on inflatable bounce house safety with Amy with the Adventure Zone. Amy, you're here? Okay. All right. Why don't we give it just a minute here for things to kind of settle down? Thanks again, everybody. That was way special.
By the way, Wes's idea. It was Wes's idea. Well, no, we already, he knows that, but I didn't know if you knew that or not. Yeah. Yeah, that's
This is my empty
kind
bag.
of surprised because I'm like, Wes, and there's Connie. Anyway, they were all,
Harvey,
when you went down, they were all
The
like,
bunny.
How you doing?
I really had said, no,
Good.
that's Wes's idea. So in the future, when you're
Well, that's good to know.
Okay, so I understand the frustration when you're inside. I did. But I'll have the ladies up front, just give you guys a call.
All righty, Amy.
I am super relieved that they all left because I was having a panic attack with so many people here. Like, I've been to a couple of these and they were never this busy, and I was really, really worried. My name's Amy. I am from Logan, and my boss is David Gordon. He lives in Richmond. He wants to apologize. He's the one that usually does this, but he had to go out of state for a last-minute thing, and he wasn't able to be back in time. So you get me. And I really want to apologize for that because I'm not as polished as he is. I'm actually very happy to be here in Tremont tonight. Your city has the honor of hosting the Box Elder County Fair. Love that. And you guys have that Crystal Hot Springs. It's just like 10 minutes away from here, which is awesome. David's contact information is on the top of your pages because he's the one that gives all the answers. So if you have any questions for me tonight that I can't answer, he is your resource. He's been in the amusement industry for 25 years. He's a member in good standing with NARSO. That is the National Association of Amusement Ride Safety Officials. He is a nationally recognized certified licensed inspector. He's well-versed in the ASTM, which is the American Society for Testing of Materials Standards and Practices for the safe operation of bounce houses or inflatable amusement devices. He and his wife currently own and operate the Adventure Zone, which is a traveling inflatable carnival company. Together, we recently started the Western States Inflatable Safety Association because of the lack of regulations for these fun pieces of equipment. I want to share a couple of examples of incidents that have happened. Josh was a promising young ballet dancer and a future anticipated missionary when he lost the use of his legs and much of the function, his hands, arms, and fingers while he was playing on an inflatable amusement ride in Provo in 2015. In Nevada, authorities said that strong winds blew away an inflatable bounce house with 3 kids inside, blew it into power lines, and caused the power outages to thousands of people or thousands of homes in the Reno area. One resident related that she heard the explosion when her power went out, and she said, honestly, it was a huge boom and the house shook. Deputies and firefighters did rescue the children. 2 of them were able to be treated at the scene, and the third was taken to the hospital where she later died. Nearly 83,000 children have been hurt in accidents on inflatable slides and bounce houses between 2015 and 2019. When you break this down, between 2000 and 2004, there was only 5,599. That's an increase of 1,382%, and that's just in less than 15 years. As inflatables become more and more popular as an alternative to the traditional carnival, and they cement themselves as a birthday celebration staple, accidents from inexperienced operators and lack of regulations are now the norm. Because of their propensity for accidents and injuries, inflatable amusement devices need to be inspected by certified individuals with proper credentials so that we can provide safety to the public and streamline enforcement, therefore limiting confusion and saving lives. We find these statistics woefully unacceptable. During David's 25 years of owning and operating a carnival, he's attended over 500 events in 13 of the western United States. He's seen firsthand the inconsistencies in rider safety enforcement from place to place. In Utah, there is no statewide administered regulation for amusement devices, none at all. Sometimes when you're operating within Utah, a city will dispatch a local building inspector who has no experience in amusement devices to do an inspection at a fair or a carnival. It's kind of like taking your sick pet to the mechanic. You would never allow a house to be built without proper inspectors, licensed builders, and city permits. We don't even allow drivers on the road without training. Yet there are currently about 20 inflatable companies within 50 miles of Tremonton. Most of them will happily do business with the residents in this town, and all of these businesses have little to no recognized training in inflatable safety and operation. We believe that inspectors must be a part of a centralized agency such as NARSO that trains and produces safety protocols so that they can be consistent and effective in their jobs. In the state of Montana, the Missoula City Council was recorded as discussing the costs of insuring inflatables. They concluded that it's important to make sure that there's sufficient insurance because what if a catastrophic accident happened? They decided that the city should not be the ones that were holding the bag on that. Montana law, and also Montana does not have safety regulations just like Utah. Montana law says that their legislature finds that amusement rides are used by a large number of Montana citizens, and they attract a large number of non-residents, significantly contributing to Montana's tourism industry and its tax base. Now, while Montana law does describe amusement ride safety as an important policy matter, the implication that by them not having any safety protocols for bounce houses and other rides in place is that their enthusiasm for the economic contributions from the amusement ride industry overrides any concern for rider safety. So for us, what we want to do is we want to help. With the lack of state regulations, we're asking the cities in the state of Utah to require inflatable operators who are working in their towns to comply with NARSO and ASTM standards and practices. We can train city officials how to properly inspect inflatables and the companies that they bring in. We can offer website references and phone support 24/7 for any municipality willing to work with us to help enforce these inflatable safety regulations. We want to work with you to offer training to any company that comes in as well so that they can be compliant. If you'd like, you can schedule a training workshop with us to gain access to the safety material. Our website isn't up yet. I just finished it, and it's in the process of being uploaded. So the Adventure Zone is, but the WSISA is not yet. You can make regulations for your city and enforce them. You can keep updated through continuing education on inflatable safety, and you can strive for a statewide policy. Now, since there isn't anything, there is a company that you can trust in your city, and that's the Adventure Zone. We have a superb safety record for over 2 decades. We have passed and are fluent in the inspection programs. In each of the western states, there are 3 of them that have regulations. What we can do is we can bring up to 10 inflatable attractions that includes massive slides, challenging obstacle courses, bouncy playlands, fun bouncy houses, and carnival-style games. It provides a fun-filled carnival atmosphere and a family-friendly environment that adds a level of amusements for events in your area, and it's a great source of revenue for fairs and festivals. There's two different payment options. One's free to the public, where the city event organizers, they pay $7,000, or it's that we have a pay-for-play option, which is where we come to the city at no upfront cost to you, and then we provide a payback of 10% of our ticket box sales back to the event organizers. This, so that includes the 10 attractions, 1 to 5 days of operation, trained workers to set up, operate, and tear down the carnival. Now, this is given to the city one time for free if they take the training class. We do have an insurance policy. It's $3 million over $1 million. I know that the implementation of regulations for amusement rides that are enforced by the government can significantly reduce these tragic events and save lives. On some Utah roadways, there are digital overhead signs that say 0 fatalities, 0 accidents. We have a similar goal when it comes to amusement accidents. We don't want one more town looking for answers. We don't want one more family ripped apart. We do live in an imperfect world where accidents do happen, but I feel that it is our responsibility to do everything that we can to prevent each other from these accidents. So I feel like we should consider regulating inflatable amusements as just one more feather in our quiver of safety practices. I know that that goal is unrealistic, but as T. Harvey Eker said, if you shoot for the stars, you'll at least hit the moon. And if while we're shooting for the stars, we're able to stop one more lacerated face, one more broken bone, one more lifetime scar, or heaven forbid, a child's death, isn't it worth it? Now, this pricing for the training is $1,500 per town. You can decide however many you want to have included in this training. You can have 100 people, you can have 1 person. This includes an 8-hour hands-on lecture type training with hands-on and lecture type training based on the ASTM standards and NARSO recommended learning. It includes access to the Western States Inflatable Web Association website and 24-hour support for all your inflatable safety needs. And then we recommend viewing any updates at least annually. There is a refresher course that you can take. We recommend this at least every other year. And if you want, let's say you have 15 people from the first time that you took it and only 5 of them are still there and you have 3 new guys, you can still send them too for that refresher course. It's only $500 for that refresher course. And we'll still include those 3 new people. It's not another $1,500. And that will include any updates or changes that have happened in the past 1 to 2 years, however long it's been. Now, if you do have somebody come to your event, we can offer a certified safety inspection. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to take those now. I'm super nervous, so be easy on me. And there's some amendments, so that, our addendums, I don't know. So the pricing is on the second to the last page. And then, this is my favorite page, the last page is why you should have the Adventure Zone come. It has a whole bunch of different ideas why you should have a party and celebrate, so.
Thank you.
Yes. Any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you,
time. I
Amy.
appreciate it.
Yep. Public comments. This is an opportunity to address the city council regarding your concerns or ideas. We're asking that you keep your comments concise. Think about them before you come up and make sure that you have your thoughts in order as you address the council. Okay. New council business. Discussion and consideration of approving the October financial statements. Council? Any questions on that?
I'll make a motion that we approve this evening the October financial statements.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Connie and seconded by Wes that we approve the October financial statements. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Discussion and consideration of approving the October warrant register. Council, any questions on that?
What's that, Chase? I probably ask that once a year. Chase for 46,000.
I thought it was the grill lunch meeting.
Interest?
$47,000 dinner out there.
Council?
I'll make a motion that we approve the October warrant register.
I'll second.
Moved by Lyle and seconded by Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 22-66, approving a ground lease agreement between Tremonton City and Yesco to extend Yesco's ground lease agreement, lease on the city property for billboards along Interstate 15. We talked about this in our work session. Is there anything additional you have, any questions you have on it? Council?
Looks like a good deal. I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution number 22-66.
Been moved by Lyle, seconded by Brett. Let's see, this is a discussion, so all in favor?
Aye.
This is a resolution.
Resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Resolution. Rick?
Okay.
Brad, aye.
Lyle Vance, aye.
Bonnie Archibald, aye.
West Eye.
Discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 22-67, approving the Tremonton City brand playbook. We had a great presentation by Rushford from Red Corps, and I don't know if any have any other questions or anything on this,
Or did it come with it?
council?
I'll make a motion that we approve, what is it, resolution 2267.
Been moved by Rick,
I'll second that.
seconded by Connie. Let's start on Wes's side this time.
West Eye.
Bonnie Archibald, aye.
Lyle Vance, aye.
Brad, aye.
Rick, aye.
Motion passes. Okay, hold on just a second here. All right. Discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 22-66, approving the termination of a building inspection agreement with surrounding cities in northern Box Elder County.
I read it, but I don't remember when it ends.
Maybe we better have Sean just kind of walk through this briefly with us.
Sure, yeah. So currently, and it's gone back several years before I was involved with the city, but the city's been providing building inspections for Deweyville, Elwood, Fielding, Garland, Howell, Plymouth, Snowville, and Corinne. And
Billable?
what's that?
Were those billable?
They weren't. I mean, they were an hourly rate. I felt like we were doing a neighborly favor, frankly, in
The revenues were on them?
insignificant.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can show you because it's been something that's been on my mind for a long period of time. So at any rate, at this point, because we're looking for a building inspector ourselves, it's a good time to get everyone looking for their own building inspector or the way that they're going to provide services. And so we're just essentially giving notice that come March 1st, that we would no longer be providing those services to them. So,
We could always go back. If we found a good one, and he just was the building inspector, we could change that.
yeah, and the county reached out to.
I think we're gonna, but it's open.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's always open for consideration. There's a Interlocal Cooperation Act, and it's in Utah code, and it says essentially when cities can work together and there's mutual advantage and benefit, and there's some economy and efficiencies that cities, enter into these agreements. And so under those criteria, I think it's always wise to evaluate if there's mutual benefit, and if there is, it's certainly good to work together for a lot of different reasons.
So when these agreements were made, Tremonton was much less in terms of population than it is now, and wasn't growing like it is now. So Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think, council?
Well, I think we have to.
yeah, I think
have
it's
to
the right
hire
thing to do.
somebody to do ours, and I don't know how we'd hire somebody to do somebody else's.
Yeah, I would just throw a little bit of caution out there that we still want to be the good neighbor. And if we can do things to help other cities, and it's beneficial, not that we're paying it out of our own pocket and all that. I think we still need to look for those opportunities, but that's the only
Yeah,
thing.
I agree.
But for now, it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 22-68 this evening.
I'll second it.
Moved by Connie and seconded by Wes, and you're going to second also, Rick? Let's see, Rick, why don't we start?
Rick,
with
aye.
Brett, aye.
Lyle Van Cy.
Connie Archibald, aye.
West side.
Motion passes. Thank you. Discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 22-69, approving a professional services agreement with Landmark Design Incorporated to perform special projects related to urban planning, urban design, and landscape architecture. I'm not sure we had time to really talk about
Yeah.
this one too much.
So Landmark Design, we've engaged them on several different planning projects, and each time we've done a contract. What this allows us to do is, as funds are appropriated, to essentially just go through the process of identifying the scope of work and getting a preliminary estimate. The actual amount would be based upon their billable hours. And so, we do have several projects that I could foresee us using them on. Our land use code does require that we use a landscape architect, and they certainly have that credential and qualification. And so, in the short term, we are currently working on doing some design on open space that we've acquired for both park space and for storm drain basins. And rather than just having the engineer look at that area from a purely storm drain basin perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense to have a landscape architect involved in looking at it from a parks and public open space perspective. And so that's something that we would engage them on. And again, it's consistent with what we expect from other developers developing property in the city. And for example, in that case, that specific project would come out of impact fees. So,
Council?
What's it cost?
Yeah.
their billable rates are attached to the scope of work. So it would be a case by case. What we would foresee them, city staff using them is just purely for their expertise on, the planning project, not to get too involved in items that city staff could typically do. And they would also, whatever the task was, they would use the lowest professional to bill at.
Who decides that? And I'll just throw this out
Yeah.
there. If we want to do this park lawn out here, who would we hire? Which one of them would we pay?
A senior planner, probably a landscape architect, if it's something that we're designing a landscape plan, again, kind of consistent with what our code requires. Mm-hmm.
And so if, let's say you have a project,
Mhm.
let's say Paul has a project. So Paul would hire them, play it out of his budget and
Mhm.
use them to take care of the project.
Mhm.
So it's really out of each department's budget to
Right.
afford these people.
And to sort of, manage them.
Okay.
They put together a scope of work, that scope of work the city staff agrees upon. So we're clear on what the deliverables are and what we need. And for example, on that park plan that I talked about, I told them we don't need any presentation piece quality, graphics. really need you to be able to lend your perspective and understanding of land use, or should say landscape architecture, and develop the park kind of based upon that perspective. And in some cases, there's not a lot of constraints for those combination storm drain park spaces, depending upon the elevation. But in some cases, there's quite a bit of constraint as far as the design based on elevation. So I just feel like this is going to give us the best outcome for these public spaces. And again, it's sort of in line with what we expect others.
So what we're doing here is just approving a vendor.
Right.
Basically, we're not, no money or anything, we're just approving a contract.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I make a motion, we adopt resolution number 22-69.
I'll second it.
Moved by Brett and seconded by Lyle. Let's see, Wes?
West side.
Connie Archibald, aye.
Lyle Vance, aye.
Brett, aye.
Rick, aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 22-70, approving a professional services agreement with Zion's Public Finance Incorporated to perform a water rate study. We had a great presentation on this earlier in our work session. Council, do you have any other questions with regard to the proposal?
I thought the use of data is, it's a great way to present to our community. The data will show how we need to proceed. So I felt really good about it, and I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 22-70 this evening.
Yeah,
moved
that's a good
by-
question. How will you audit your data? Because there may be some assumptions. The assumptions would be objective. It could be objective. And so those objective assumptions could drive different results.
Objective or subjective? Are you thinking?
Subjective.
Subjective,
Subjective,
I'm sorry,
okay.
subjective, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, we'll disclose what those assumptions are, and I think you'll be very involved in the process as far as, walking through the model, kind of understanding what the inputs are, and you could add your opinion and perspective into some of those subjective assumptions. Mhm.
Can we put
It sounded so good. too.
additional on that hopefully we're purchasing the software with it?
That they'll
Otherwise,
release.
that's really expensive.
Yeah.
To come up with 4 quotes and not get the software.
So, the actual file, the Excel
Yeah,
file.
so we can work it, down the road.
Other assumptions and stuff?
Yeah,
Use other
use our own
assumptions.
assumptions and.
I'll verify if it's something different than that, then, do you want to come back on the agenda then and discuss that?
I don't know about timing, but I just think that ought to be part of it. Is that okay, Connie? You're the one that made the motion.
Yeah.
We can add that to the motion.
Yeah. So which one are we going after? The
To make
10
sure
or the
we get the
14? Oh,
software.
no, the software, yes, I agreed there. But were we going after the 10 or the 14?
We thought the 14, just because based on your last process, you wanted to.
Tiers, yeah,
You
that's-
wanted,
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure that's what we were looking at, so. Yeah, that's what I was thinking also.
We have a motion on the we have a motion on the table from Connie, but with no second yet.
I'll second.
Yeah.
A motion by,
Can we redefine the motion, please?
yes, I believe, if that's, well, it's up to Connie.
Yeah.
She made the motion.
I'll make a motion this evening that we adopt resolution number 22-70 with the addition of making sure that we have the opportunity to have the software that we can manipulate at our will.
Okay.
I second it.
Motion by Connie and second by Lyle Vance. Any other discussion? Rick?
Rick, aye.
Brett, aye.
Lyle Vance, aye.
Connie Archibald, aye.
West side.
Motion passes. Okay, thank you. Discussion, this is, we're winding down here, council. Discussion and consideration of approving the city council annual meeting schedule for the year of 2023. We got any issues with any of that?
Must be close to the 4th of July while we're not there, right? I don't
Meeting in
have it.
July?
Oh, I got a calendar. The 18th be the 3rd. Yeah, that'd be not good.
Oh, yeah.
21st is fine.
4th.
We only have one this month.
This one.
I make a motion, we approve. Tremont
I'll
City
second
Council
it.
Annual Meetings schedule.
Okay, it's been moved by Lyle Vance, seconded by Wes. Did I hear that right?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Let's see, calendar items. Do we need to review the calendar for anything?
You
There
say
will
you're up
be
for
only-
Garland tomorrow?
Garland tomorrow.
I'll go with you.
Perfect. Appreciate that.
No, it's January.
Oh, it's not? Oh, that's right. It's in January, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll still go with
We're
you,
meeting with-
hopefully.
I'm not going to say any more. Okay, great. We'll meet with them. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how that all goes.
Yeah, I'm planning.
So Wes and Mayor, is that?
Yeah, it looks like that's what it's going to be. Unless,
And I'll go with you too.
okay, perfect. More the merrier.
And then
Let-
Lyle Vance and Connie on Deweyville?
Great.
Planning on it.
We're only going to have one, this is the only council meeting for this month. In 2 weeks, we're going to meet and down to Maddox and
Neat.
We're doing that in conjunction with the planning commission, so they need to be invited as well, right? Or is that gonna be two separate rooms?
Two separate rooms, as far as I know, but
So can I eat two separate meals?
yeah, go for it.
they're both at 6.
Go for it, Brett.
Paul bought me lunch today in Logan for class, and then I ate pizza
Go
here
for it.
tonight, so.
So we are meeting in two separate rooms? Because we can't get along?
We set them up separately, it just happened.
Okay,
They were
all
the
right.
same night at the same time.
All right, good.
I told Jenny that I would let you know they're gonna serve that big lunch for Christmas on December 16th. Be there at
Oh.
11:45.
Yeah,
I know we have fire chief.
Fire
interviews.
chief interviews.
What time did you say?
I'll be there at 11:45.
Okay.
December 16th.
Senior Center,
Fire chief, that's interviews.
Christmas.
okay. Council, is there any unfinished business? Sean, action items that we need to discuss?
Not action items. I had a few
Number
items just to bring you up to date on for, I forget what's called, city manager's report. Is that where you're, is that where we're at?
Oh, that's a Friday.
Well, this is just the unfinished business.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I don't have.
Okay, reports and comment, city manager, why don't you give us a little update on things here with
And we did spend time
got the
talking,
zoning and building inspector?
yeah, and we did talk about the building inspector.
We did create the job description and some new change in there. So I'm trying to figure out how to fill that gap as well. So feel free to read through the job description if you're curious about what that person would do in their job duties. But with Steve's meeting,
We'd have too many run-ins.
we'll need someone filling that gap. The other thing I wanted just to make you aware of is the state auditor requires us to do a fraud assessment every year and for you to be aware of it. And so the fraud assessment was conducted by Curtis Roberts. Our score was 325. And so that put us in, I think, the low risk category. So we'll continue to evaluate our risk for fraud and see what we can do to improve internal controls and push that score higher. So we have a lower risk. So the other thing that I wanted just to inform you about is DRC. And there has been a few few conversations on new applications. One is there's and I don't have details on this one, but there's a townhome project that's being proposed on Fourth West. So as more and more information comes in, I'll certainly keep you informed on that one. We also had the Bear River Meadows. I don't know if you remember that project, but it's down on 6 South, between 6 South and Aspen Range, which is another townhome project.
And they, with some of the changes in interest rate, they lost the original builder that they had lined up to purchase it. There's a new prospective builder that's looking at that project to purchase. The mayor and I met with them and had a good conversation. So we'll see if they actually continue through the process and acquire the property and build out that project. But this is an application that we've had several conversations with, and you might need to zoom out a little bit. Before Lindsay does, just to try to explain what that is. It's a truck plaza or truck stop, and it's I think what you would generally anticipate a C-store. It's hard to see from what they're showing exactly if there's going to be fast food or any restaurants connected specifically in that one development, but that's sort of the plan overall. I think it's a 90-acre site. It's located right off from Interstate 84 and 1000 North. So,
Just right there.
Across the street.
Yeah, right by the road sheds.
yeah,
Right?
yes. So this is BR Mountain Road on the top end as it connects down to 1000 North. So it's a little misleading, the layout, and talking to them, what they're going to explore is actually, because those grades are so steep, at a certain point, they're looking at having it parallel, that would be having BR Mountain Road parallel the interstate for the steepest portion of that grade, so that they're not doing a lot of earthwork. And that seemed to make a lot of sense from an engineering perspective. So they're going to be doing some preliminary engineering on that. My understanding is they have a letter of, they're working towards getting a letter of intent signed for the end user, and before, entering into that agreement, they're trying to figure out, timelines and what the costs are going to be. And so that's where we're at in the process. They haven't submitted a formal application, but they've been doing a lot of due diligence and work trying to understand how this project would lay out and what the city requirements would be. So I would tell you a couple things that's a little unique about this project. We talked about BR Mountain Road. There is no sewer in this location, and so we've told them that they would need to install the sewer lines as if they were gravity fed, and those would be in BR Mountain Road. And they would actually have to install a pump station to pump up the effluent back onto 1000 North and up and over to a point where it would gravity flow back to the treatment plant until the time when BR Mountain Road is extended all the way down and connects on the south end by River Valley.
Now, they don't own the property to the north of the gray line there, correct?
They do,
They own all of it all the way up to
up to
10th
the
North?
road, yeah.
Yeah,
So they're kind of looking at, that's kind of northwest, I guess. On the south side of the road, they're looking at pads that they would be able to, restaurants or whatever, they'd have a couple of pads there for that kind of business as
This section
well.
up here, they own.
they own 90 acres in it. So there's a few lots that are shown. Hopefully you can, residential lots, and maybe Lindsay, I don't know if you can move your
So they own
cursor.
this whole thing.
Yeah,
Most of what you see
I
there.
was just gonna.
those are just, they're just
I
So
see.
then they would need to run
elevation,
the sewer all the way to our sewer,
right.
because they own that.
Right, they would need to extend it. It's not all the way to this location in 1000 North, so they need to extend it, a fair amount of way.
But they would only extend through their property. Once they hit the end of their property, we would be responsible to get it to that point, right?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, they would be responsible for installing the pump station, but they wouldn't be responsible for, for one, they've actually tried to work with the Petersons. The Petersons own that property. They're in the county right now. And supposedly at this point, they're not interested in developing the property. But the idea is the next person who would develop the property would extend it.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So, one of the things I would just tell you, this is, we feel like, at least I do, I feel like this is a good location. Previously, they had the truck stop shown on the very top end of the project, close to those residential homes. And so we are conscious of the impacts of commercial next to residential. So to the degree that we can mitigate that conflict and potential uses, we're trying to do that through design. So it really sits low on the site, which actually adds some visibility as you're headed. It would be north.
Yeah, your south would be decreased visibility.
It would, yeah. But I think, and you probably know that topography better than I. It just seems like there's a little bit of a rise, and you kind of go around a bend.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we feel like this is a preferred location, and
I think it's a hot location for a truck stop.
Yeah. I think the biggest issue is going to be trying to figure out what their impacts are. What we've told them is that, they're going to do a traffic impact study. They're also going to do a geotech report, but trying to figure out what that impact is, the truck traffic on the road, and their proportionate share based upon their impact of their development, because that's essentially what exactions are based upon, is determining their proportionate share. One of the things that we've told them is to build out 1000 North, this section to an 80-foot right-of-way, because what we want to do is have the truck traffic separate from, the vehicular traffic that's passing through, so it doesn't get congested in that area. And so those are all conversations that we're having with the developer.
And with that being one of the road being one of our main roads, what do you call that?
It's
What kind of road?
It's a minor arterial.
Minor arterial.
Yeah.
80 feet?
Well, so that's our typical standard for minor arterial is 80 feet, but for the most of 1000 North, it's limited and constrained to 66 feet, which is typically what county roads are. But in this section, we want to get that full 80 feet so we can have essentially 2 lanes, and the truck, so essentially it would be a deceleration lane.
Right. But the Bear River Mountain Road will be 80 feet.
It'll be 80
going all
feet.
the way down. And so are they responsible to put that road in through that subdivision, or they'll be responsible for a certain width and then we pick up the additional?
Well, that's sort of what they argue. That's what we're trying to figure out is the proportionate share, and we'll use a traffic engineer to help, provide information and data to sort of evaluate. But typically, if it wasn't a truck stop, it's more likely that they would develop 66 feet and the city would develop 14 feet, would be responsible for a thicker substructure, related to more of a minor arterial road. But that's usually the division. But in this case, I could see the data maybe suggesting that they should participate in doing more than that, but yet to be determined.
You mentioned Fourth West. I'm at the beginning.
Yeah, Fourth West Townhomes,
Where?
along that vacant property, right across from Shopco area.
To
Okay.
the east of
The
it,
property you used to own?
Bingham Trucking, yeah.
Lyle used to own some of that.
Yeah.
Not all of it, I don't know.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown, but there's still a lot of interest in development. So,
What's that?
I was saying, we're seeing a little bit of slowdown in applications but still, I feel like there's a lot of, still a lot of activity, and some of these projects are pretty complex, like this one. It takes time to work through the issues.
Well, I say our next city party, we go to that movie theater over at the.
Oh, yeah,
That was pretty nice.
at Clubhouse.
Yeah.
I vote we go to the axe throwing place. Let's see how much love we really have for each other.
Yeah. So, maybe Brett wants to report on that. I'll leave that for him.
On what?
Oh, I was just going to say
Axe throwing.
that's
I'll
Wes's.
just dodge him. I'll run.
I was just thinking about our tour through.
It was impressive.
I thought so too.
They have 3 pools, 2 pools and a hot tub, and a nice rec center. And then they have a fairly large theater down in the basement. I'd say it holds 50 theater seats in it.
Where?
Yeah.
Is that up on the hill?
No, it's right across the street from.
Really?
It's theater room, 50 seats.
Wow.
It was impressive. And it's all done.
Really nice.
Yep.
House that they've.
It's a nice project.
Yeah.
Turned out good.
All right. Do you have anything else to share with us, Sean?
I don't.
Okay, Paul, do you want to bring us up to speed on
Yeah, there's not much.
road projects?
A little bit. We got basically 3 projects in the works. 10th North, which Chris is working on the slope easements now as part of the design. He's hoping to have that done by the end of the month.
Oh, good.
He gave me next week, but I give him to the end of the month because December's always a tough month because of holidays and vacations, and also that's the same time frame, the completion of the 1650 West Stubb Street. Even though that project won't probably be put on our books to do until 2024, he'll have it ready so that when we are ready to go out to bid, it's ready just to pull off the shelf and put it together.
So you think that's going to be done next week too, he said?
It's the end of the month.
Oh, end of the month, right.
Is what, yeah. 1200 South, they're just into design. He doesn't have a timeline, but it's gonna be early into the year. But also going into the year, we'll be putting together a chip seal project that we're gonna put out to bid February, early Marches. And in that, we'll look at the roads that we've cut with the secondary project, but also pull in all those subdivision projects that we've acquired the funds for, but haven't chip sealed yet because we hadn't done a chip seal project since then. So that should be ready to go out to bid. But hopefully by then we'll have some idea of what we want to do on 1000 North and where we can gather those funds from to complete that project. And then I think the plan is for the first meeting in January is to have our geologist come, and talk about our ARS project, what he feels, help us interpret the chart, the graph that he gave us, to know what, because his initial study says this is a good project, we are to look at doing it, and so we'll have a final, hopefully by then, a final document, and then have him come and speak to us about that document. And that's about all I had.
One thing I'd add, so with the slope easements and probably based upon the number of acquisitions, I think we'll engage a acquisition agent to actually go through and negotiate with homeowners on acquiring those easements. That's pretty typical for road projects.
That's what we did on 10th North, the project from 2300 West. There was just a few there. These will be actually a few more, but that'll help them understand also why the necessity of those easements. Because really we're not taking property, but we have to have it because we'll be working and restructuring their property as we make those connections to driveways and such.
The last conversation we had about that street, we was gonna, was when Diane was here the second time she was here, I like her idea, just going up to a certain point, restructuring the road, then doing the rest with our own road working equipment. Is that what we're thinking about doing, or?
We haven't come with the final, we're gonna present this city council and let them, cause the rest would be a grind and regrade and repave type of thing. This here will be a total rebuild with curb gutter and sidewalk.
So you're just going after numbers at this point to let us know, is what
So
you're?
we know exactly what it's gonna
Okay.
cost us.
Okay.
Well, and I also do think, and Paul can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris was trying to figure out if the elevations would work, that we could essentially repave a portion of it and use that in the final design, so we wouldn't necessarily have to, regrade or, rotomill it and change the elevation. I think what he found is in the section that we're gonna do next, we can't, but as we get further on, it really levels out where we're not, we can do that, where we can essentially repave it and have that repavement benefit and be used in the expansion.
In the road, if you go up the road past the road going up to Country View, so that's what, 36? It's a pretty good road. It's still in pretty good shape. And that might be one we do the really rough part, rebuild the part at the bottom that needs to be widened and help for public safety. Restructure and resurface portion up to the Country View Drive, and then the rest might be good for another year or two or few. I mean, you remember they promised us if we did the bottom one, they would get off your back. I don't know that is always gonna happen, because they'll want more, but we can at least get that first leg done and look at doing the second portion of it. But we'll know, because those tie-ins are critical, and that's where the steepness coming off and coming down, we have to make it to where those driveways tie in and people can get in and out of their driveways safely, especially during the winter months.
Will that tie clear over to our sidewalk in front of the pond? Curb will go right to the
It'll
sidewalk.
start from 2300 west and go west for the first leg, widen and curb gutter sidewalk. And then continue on with resurfacing further west. So.
Very good. Thanks, Paul. Council, reports? Rick, do you have
How about
anything?
Dustin? He's back there awful quiet. He snuck right in.
Yeah, he did. You got anything for us,
He was
Dustin?
polite and stood outside while the kids was here.
I appreciate that, Wes.
I'll always look out for you. He packs a gun in his sock, so.
Wes doesn't want to go home. All right, so I do have a few things to update the council on. It's all positive tonight, so that's good news. First and foremost, we've implemented some new software, and that's actually going to allow us to reduce our cost in manpower by 4,000 to 6,000. That's more for our civilian staff. Essentially, this reduces how much time it takes to create our scheduling, time cards, things of that nature. And I appreciate the advice from some of the council along the way. Just streamlining thing. We're looking for places where we can save money. We're also in the process of converting to paperless. Thanks to Mark, we got that new printer, so now we can scan our old documents and create a file to keep track of all those. It's on phase one. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I don't have the numbers, but I know that's going to save us money as well. We've streamlined our animal control and code enforcement process. Our production is on track to be nearly 4 times what it was before. So we're going to keep going down that path and making sure we're making that impact. So far, things are going really well, and I'm hopeful for the future with that. And we have a unique problem in law enforcement when it comes to hiring and getting people trained through the police academy. There's a lot of outdated policies that kind of tie our hands behind our backs, and I'm working with the Chief of Police Association to kind of remedy those. I don't expect you to be, up to speed with all the things going on that side of the house, but there is new leadership over at the police academy, and we're working with that sheriff who, there's some ideas out there where they're basically willing to give up some sick time and things like that to help families that are struggling from going without. So really touching. I'm really proud of them, and it's just great to see that in this community. All positive tonight, like I promised. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Rick, you got anything for us tonight?
I should have asked you. I had some neighbors asking about a guy that was taking pictures of kids going home from school, and over at North Park doing the same thing, or I don't know if it was on two different occasions.
I haven't heard anything about that particular one. I'll check in. We do have an issue with that. And I don't agree with this, but it is what it is. People can actually take photos of your kids or whatever they want if they're in a public area. But it's definitely something we'd want to
Nerve wracking.
navigate. So,
Okay,
yeah, if you can get me the info, I'll check into that.
Tell someone
Okay.
to take a picture of him.
taking the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you'll have,
That's equally okay.
Yeah, I'll see what we can do.
you'll know who it is.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Yes. Roger Friedal will no longer be able to serve on the Water
Conservancy.
Conservancy District, and they are asking for a representative from our city. Mayor, is that something you're going to do?
Apparently so,
Are you okay with that?
yeah,
I can tell them that you'll do that?
yeah.
Okay.
Who's been,
I just, excuse me.
brother?
Mr. Forsgren
Oh,
from Honeyville, I think he's the co-chair. No, excuse me, the vice chair. He was asking me if we could find someone. I can give him your name.
yes,
They meet on Wednesdays at 7, I believe.
that's what I'm afraid of.
Once a month, right?
Yeah. mhm. They will.
Now, if it doesn't work for you, I don't know if there was
We'll
another
find some-
council
yeah.
person, but
Yeah, what we may want to do, well, I don't know. Yeah, let's see what this looks like and then kind of go from there.
okay, so I'll give him your name.
All right now.
So I think Roger's kind of done.
Yeah, he's.
Somebody got him
somebody
tied
got
up in
involved
something else.
Who could that have been?
Did Roger get a?
Mark?
Lyle.
That's all I had.
Roger gets a church job or something?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, I thought that's what I know.
What's that?
Oh,
It's a, yeah.
ew.
Service mission.
I don't have anything to report.
Okay. Connie?
Yeah, I wanted to just thank everyone that was involved in our Christmas celebration on Saturday. Lots of people came out. It was cold, but it was well attended. We had some fun, and Julie was one of the winners. Julie was one of the ugly sweater
ugliest.
winners.
Yeah,
Ugliest, ugly, uglier, and ugliest.
Most ugliest.
Most ugliest. And of course, you know, Sarah was really involved, Zach was really involved. Just lots and lots of effort went into that, and all for families. And I just was impressed with just the feeling there. Santa Claus was there, Grinch showed up,
Hayride was a
hayride was fantastic.
great.
So always, you know, it's good to accentuate the positive and those things that people are doing that are above and beyond for sure. So that would be my. And then I do want to mention too that I had a citizen mention to me the other day how much she appreciated our posts on Facebook, how those have increased, and it's given them an opportunity to know more about. And I know that, again, Sarah's been really involved in that. However, I talked with Mark, it would be nice to have on our website an opportunity to click in our website and see the Facebook posts that Sarah's making, because she's doing, it almost, is it daily? Really, it's daily. And so it helps people that literally go into the website and that's where they always go for their information. And maybe they're not into Facebook as much. So this allows them to go into their favorite place, which is our website, and still be able to see those things that are posted via Facebook. So just throw that out there that we have a lot. Sarah's doing a lot. I'm seeing it. I'm forwarding it. It's good.
Yeah, she needed to get maybe some police things involved in it, right? I mean, really.
We You
Yeah,
never know which way
no
that's
kidding.
gonna go.
That's true.
But we can take it. We can take it. I don't have anything except, kudos to downtown and,
And Main Street looks
Right out
nice.
there.
I mean, I could go on and on.
yeah.
Thank you, the youth council, high five to them. Sarah worked with them, the mayor's been working with them. They did a nice job with the trees and it looks much, much, much improved, much more festive.
Yeah, I have to second everything that's been said. I just wanted to, I think our Public Works went above and beyond to get the power to all of those trees and everything, and we appreciate you doing, it's something that was sort of just put on your shoulders, and you guys went ahead and just did it right, and we sure appreciate that. There are a couple of grants that we're working on. One is a Rural Communities Opportunity Grant through the governor's economic,
Economic Development Committee?
economic, it's not that, they changed the name of it. But anyway, it's a grant that we're applying for through that. We're asking for some money to redo Midland Square and make it more of a plaza, more of an area where people can gather and for us to do different things like events. We're trying to plan on events nearly all year round, except for maybe the really cold months, and doing that, and farmers markets and all of the other things that we're doing. So we're applying for that, and we're hoping for the best there. Also a CDBG grant. Paul mentioned a little bit about the aquifer recharge. I don't know what the S stands for, but the ARS, sort of a recharge area, and it'll be basically recharging the Cedar Ridge aquifer with water that's already going into the Bear River from the spring. We'd take that water and recharge it through the off-season months, and then hopefully be able to use that water during the high demand period of time. So we're applying for that grant there. So there's some things going on. We're kind of excited about all of that. Again, just want to thank everybody. Pretty much everybody in this room, we want to thank all of you for everything you do to make Tremont a better place for all of us. And it takes a lot of work, and sometimes we get kind of nasty things said to us and all this kind of thing, and fellow or two on Facebook that I don't have real Christian-like feelings toward, but that's okay. Anyway, thank you, everybody. We appreciate all your efforts, and I think with that, we have one more.
Just one question, sorry.
Yeah.
Have they started swapping out the lights? The power pole or the,
That was, the 12th.
oh, the December?
Yeah, if the park
Okay.
came in, if not, for sure, the 19th.
Okay.
Because I've got a few lights that are out there. I've been holding off on putting work orders in because I knew they would
We'll
go
do that,
anyway.
yeah.
If they're doing a change out.
I'll look
I'm
for it.
excited for that.
Mostly the 12th.
That'll be neat.
We'll know when they get it down.
Yeah, you'll be able to tell, so, thanks. Okay, sorry. I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Moved by Rick and seconded by Brett, and I'm not even going to ask for a vote. Thank you, everybody.